It's me, MLB. Here is part 4 of Sunshower, Aizawa x female listener x present mic. Enjoy. You left Aizawa's side and bounced over to Hizashi, wrapping your arms around his neck before he could get up out of his seat, and he blushed as you pushed yourself against his arm accidentally feeling all of your contours underneath your coat. "This is the best Christmas night ever," you said as you let go of him and grinned, the whole building feeling warmer. "Let me get your coat," Aizawa said from behind you, placing one hand on your shoulder to get your attention while Hizashi stood up, intending to tell you that he had a table ready for you all, but was waiting at the bar until you arrived. With the quickness at which he had stood up, you took a step back, and your back pressed into Aizawa while your hands came up and pressed into Hizashi's lower chest. "Oh," you said with surprise when you felt yourself very firmly pressed between the two boys, your eyes meeting and locking with Hizashi's from over the top of his glasses as you stared up at him for a second before a sudden hot wind started to whip around you three. "Sorry," you said, suddenly aware that you had your hands on him and your quirk was giving you away your embarrassment. "It's A-OK," he replied brightly, and his calm and somewhat normal response calmed you immediately. "My apologies," Aizawa said from behind you, and stepped back to allow you some room to move, and you stepped back a little with him, allowing him to start taking your coat for you. You cleared your throat and freed your arms from the coat, and that's when Hizashi had a chance to say his line. "I have a table reserved for us," he said as he gestured to the table a little way beyond with 3 chairs at it. "I was going to say we should do the sound check over there." You chuckled at his very radio-esque comment and nodded. "Yes, let's," you said. "I'll be even more keen to go if there's eggnog there," you added cheekily. "I made sure that they had enough eggnog for 10,000 people," Hizashi said proudly as he led the way to the table. Knowing him, he would have, Aizawa thought as he followed at the rear. Hizashi was so nervous and excited to get to the table that he forgot to bring his drink from the bar, and as soon as he got to the table, he remembered he had left it behind and paused. "I forgot my drink," he said as he turned around. "I'll go get it. Yin, you want eggnog? And Shouta, can I get you anything?" he asked, finally making eye contact with his friend and rival. "Coffee, with a shot of something alcoholic in it," Aizawa said plainly, and Hizashi nodded. "Got it," he replied with finger guns before spinning around and heading back to the bar. You walked around the round table to take a seat on the other side, and Aizawa quickly pulled the chair out for you to take a seat before helping you push it back in. "Thank you," you said kindly, looking to your left as he took a seat on your left side. "Have you been to this bar before?" "No," he replied blandly. "I don't go out much." "Well, maybe you should go out more," you replied with a slightly flirtatious tone. "I would, if I had the right company," he replied, giving you a side glance with his bloodshot eyes. You could feel the heat rising inside you from his somewhat pointed comment. "Is he meaning me? Would he go out more if it were with me?" you screamed internally. You could feel the room heating up more and try to take deep breaths to calm down, but all Aizawa could do was smirk. What is it?" you almost snapped. "Your quirk makes you very easy to read, Yin," Aizawa said with another side look at you through his heavy fringe. "Well, I can't help it if my mother had an emotion temperature regulating quirk and my dad had a wind weather manipulation quirk," you replied. "All I'm left with is this weird conglomerate of emotional wind weather temperature and then sometimes scent on the breeze manipulation," you huffed. "It's warmer over here. Did I miss something?" Hizashi asked as he approached the table, holding a tray with all your drinks on it. "Ugh," you groaned, wind suddenly whipping around you as your quirk took over. "Not you too." "Is everything okay?" Hizashi asked as he placed your eggnog down in front of you and then took Aizawa's drink off the tray and handed it to him. "Aizawa's teasing me about my quirk," you grumped. "Was not," he said blandly. "Shouta," Hizashi chided. "Yin has an amazing quirk. Don't tease her." "I didn't say it wasn't amazing. I said it made her easy to read," he replied bluntly before picking up his drink to take a sip. "It's embarrassing," you pouted, wind still whipping around you as you took a sip of your eggnog. "I think it's an amazing quirk," Hizashi said with a soft look at you. "And what's wrong with being able to read someone's quirk? It makes them more honest and trustworthy." You thought about what he had said and calmed, the wind dying down almost immediately in the wake of his comment. "Yeah, it's true actually," you said, taking another sip of your drink. Aizawa looked at Hizashi, and the taller blonde winked at him over the top of his glasses, making the tired ravenet lift his glass slightly in a silent cheers to Hizashi's ability to calm you down. "But anyway," you said as you took another big sip of your eggnog, Apparently, my quirk isn't as good as someone who can move fat around their body and push it into any area they want, you said bitterly, throwing your head back and sculling the rest of your eggnog. Hizashi and Aizawa looked at each other again. Can I have another one of these? You asked, holding up your empty eggnog glass. I'll get it, Aizawa said as he stood up and took it from your hand. Hizashi, you can take this round, he added as he turned and left for the bar. This round? You asked Hizashi. Yeah, anyway, what's this about, a fat mobility quirk? Hizashi asked. Him, that asshole. He left me for someone with that quirk, you said bitterly, reaching across to Aizawa's mug of alcoholic coffee and taking a big sip of it. Yin, that's, Hizashi said, putting his hand out as if to stop you. It's okay, it's just Shouta, you replied. Anyway, just because she can have a huge ass and big titties, you said sourly. So what? Is that really all that matters? Of course not, Hizashi said gently, reaching out to place his hand on top of yours. You're perfect, Yin, he said kindly. Am I really, though? You asked with doe eyes as you looked at him. Eggnog, Aizawa said as he sat back down in his seat and placed the glass in front of you. Thank you, you sniffed. Did you drink my coffee, Yin? Aizawa asked, seeing lipstick on the side of his mug. Yes, and it was good, you replied, downing the next glass of eggnog. I'll tag in now, Aizawa said to Hizashi. What are we up to? Praising, Hizashi replied. What are you boys talking about? You asked, looking at each of them in turn. They weren't new to this. There were many times in the past where you would just go on an emotional rant about something and they had to do damage control. They had worked out a system where one would take the reins on the conversation and do their best to calm you, and then the other would sub in when the first was running out of steam. Aizawa nodded. Do you really want to be with him that badly? He asked you, point blank. You know he's not good for you. I guess, you sighed. But look at me. No boyfriend, no nothing. Running back home because life in the big smoke just didn't do it for me. The bar suddenly started to feel colder, and a faint sound of howling winds could be heard outside. I caused a blizzard, Aizawa said blandly, before taking another sip of his coffee. Should we order something for dinner? Hizashi suddenly said to try and switch up the mood. I'll pay, you said, blinking a little to try and fight back the tears, and also to keep your eyes in focus since the eggnog had a bit of brandy in it, and you just downed 2 glasses in a short space of time. You grabbed for your bag by the side of your chair and lifted it up into your lap to reach in and grab your purse out, but as you fished around in there, your fingers hit a small metal object and you pinched it and pulled it out. A key? You asked when you saw what had been hiding in the basement of your bag. What's that for? Hizashi asked. The keys to her heart? I'm joking. I'm totally joking. Next week will be part 5. I'll see you then.